Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. Every week, I have a different guest on, and they take us on a journey through their fantastical, surreal, imaginary fantasy house. That's right. They take us on a journey. It's like one of those shows, like an HGTV show, but if it was like a cartoon and really trippy. I love the show. I have a blast doing it, and thank you guys for supporting. Fantasy House listeners are the best. This show is brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky, your local Southern California real estate agent. That's correct. If you would like to talk about houses in any way, shape, or form, if you'd like to talk about investment properties like multifamily units and things like that, hit me up. Send me an email at fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com, or just go to my Instagram, Jon Shefsky, JONSHEFSKY. Why? Because, dog, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? This episode is, I'm super stoked about it. I'm stoked about every episode because I know how to book awesome guests, and this one is, this is great. This dude's so rad. He is an illustrator from Chicago, and he just does the cool, I mean, he's done Mad Magazine covers. He's done Time Magazine covers. He's just done so many cool. I'm sure you've seen some of his illustrations and caricatures. He's just badass, and he's such an interesting dude. He's had a vasectomy gone wrong. He's had a lot of really interesting experiences in his life and childhood and all that good stuff. So his fantasy house, I think, is going to be great, and I'm really stoked for you guys. Jason Seiler. So now, in the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this.
I was raised super hardcore fundamental Christian.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything but that.
Yeah.
And then like, for example, when I went, I was 18 and I was going to go to art school in New York. I was accepted to go to Pratt. My dad was like, "No, you need to take a year off and go do some kind of missionary work. It's real secular in the art school. A lot of gay people and stuff. You got to be careful." Yeah,
you got to be careful. They're not vampires.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to bite you, and then you're going to become one.
You're going to catch it. You're going to catch the gay gene.
The gay gene.
Yeah, and dude. So I listened to him, and I moved to Chicago, and I did this like ministry thing because even though I was 18, I could have done whatever I wanted. I still was like, my dad said I should do this, so I did it. But I ended up becoming part of this like Christian community, which ended up being a real nightmare. And eventually I became an atheist, and everything's good. But
thanks, Dad.
Yeah, you showed me. It's just a funny thing to think about because it's like, I've had the talks with my dad, like how could this happen and everything. It's like, well, I read the Bible for the first time in my life, and I literally got like halfway through a chapter of Genesis, and I closed it. I'm like, well, I'm an atheist. Like. I just like I finally clicked.
Yeah.
But before that, I was in all these Christian punk bands, and like we put out several records.
Yeah.
And I toured with POD and Evanescence. And those kind of Evanescence. I didn't really tour with them, but I toured with the guys from the band just before. Then they became super famous.
Yeah.
But very strange. So. We didn't have crazy tours with like chicks and everything like that. Although, the funny thing was I was married at the time, and that didn't work out either. But basically,
was she mad that you were on the road?
Oh
with
yeah,
the bands
yeah.
And you're like, nothing's happening, babe.
The first 3 years of my marriage, I was on tour.
Oh yeah,
and
you can't have a relationship like that, right? When you're gone all the time.
And I went on a 7-week tour. With a show almost every single day. It was intense, and we were playing.
Exhausting.
Yeah, we were playing with a pop punk band called Goaty Hook, and we'd play like huge shows, like gymnasiums and colleges, and then all of a sudden we'd play like a dive bar the next night. Nothing ever happened weird with girls or anything like that.
Yeah. Why did you make it? Were you intention of like, I'm just going to be good?
No.
Like, as soon as you put your instrument down, you're like, lock yourself in a room.
No. We hung out. I'm just saying, like nothing ever. And mostly there were Christian punk rock shows, and so it was like, but you know, it wasn't like what people think. There was a lot of weed and stuff going on. But
I don't understand why. Of course, there's. How is there not weed in Christianity? The second,
I think you need it.
Yeah, they call getting high getting right with God. Like right away, you're like, "Ja, man, what's up, Lord?"
I remember like touring.
Transmissions.
There was bands that we toured with, and like there's this one band called the Huntingtons, and they sounded just like the Ramones. Really, really good band.
I'm liking them already.
And they were faster and a little bit more pop punky, but. I remember they were smoking weed, and I remember being like, "Oh my, there's so much sin." Oh, it was like so scary. But I know what I mean is like we actually swung by, picked up our wives on this huge tour, which was a huge mistake because it just makes everything terrible having them with. And the first
not even on tour, just in general. Don't hang out. If you take anything from this, don't hang out with your partner.
Yeah, on tour.
Any of our listeners, if you take anything from this interview, don't hang out with your partners. Don't work with your wife. Don't take your husband. You know what do they say? What's the old saying? Don't take sand to the beach. Don't take your husband to the beach.
But the first show we went to, I had bras shot up on stage. The first show my wife came to.
Christian punk show?
Oh yeah. So the first show that she came to, so she's like, "Does this happen every single show?" I was like, "That's never happened before."
If that happened at stand-up shows, dude, like, you're like, so I just went to the mall the other day. It was crazy, and then it just, panties
you're getting me so wet right now.
Dude, that'd be so gnarly. That does not happen.
And I had some girl flash me at a different show, of course, only when my wife was there, and it's like, I swear this never happens.
Never happens, babe. Please let me stay in the band, babe. Yeah. Please.
So yeah, that didn't last long.
So did you guys divorce because of that, or was it just the separation of like being on the road? Even if you were in a band that, like, even if you're a comedian, like it's still very tough on a relationship.
No, I mean I quit the band pretty much around that time.
Were the panties still on your face when you walked into the band and telling you to quit? You're like,
we're done. No, I mean it was really a drag because she didn't support me at all, and we were doing really well.
How old were you?
Probably 23, 24.
Oh, you were little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, when you're little kids and you get married, it's like...
when I got married, I was 20.
Yeah, dude, well, little kids getting married, there's always weird stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't know her, really.
Yep.
Because they were very strict, religious family and everything.
Yeah.
The first time I was ever alone with her, alone, was on our honeymoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a trip.
Yeah.
That's like super old-fashioned to the point...
She was like... she was 18.
She was 18.
And I was 20.
And you were 20.
Yeah.
And you guys had never been alone together. I mean...
Never. We weren't allowed to be... It was like very strict.
Why do you think that those traditions have like lasted so long?
I don't know.
It's like...
It was a huge mistake. Like, it was really...
The words of Job from Arrested Development. Did you say that on your wedding? You're like, on your honeymoon night, or whatever you call it, your first night together, you're like, I've made a huge mistake.
This is a serious problem. But basically, then I started working on my art career. So I started focusing like everything on that. And then I became successful in that. And she was not supportive of that. I mean, I was doing Time magazine covers, Rolling Stone, New Yorker, all this stuff. And she
wasn't stoked?
She was like, when are you going to get a real job? So that's part of why
was she blind? Crumbled. Like, this is better than a real job. Dude, I'm achieving my goals.
It's a lot more to it than that, but that was basically, it's like, I can't do this anymore. And the crazy thing, I think I told you briefly on the phone yesterday, was just before everything ended, for years she was like, begging me to get a vasectomy, and I didn't want one.
Yeah.
And I finally was like, man, maybe this will help fix things. So I got a vasectomy. A month later, she kicks me out, and I'm going through divorce. So I'm on the market. Hey ladies, guess what? I've got 2 kids. I'm going through divorce, and my balls got cut. Like, I got a vasectomy.
I'm totally safe to mate with, girls. Yeah. No responsibility.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
What happened? So she convinced you to get a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Which is the classic nagging wife thing.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But my wife's also bugging me.
We're
in the thick of it
for
right
a couple
now,
years of it.
Yeah.
She just was like, I'm not having any more kids. And I just was like, I don't know, man. I was only...
How many did you have?
I have 2 daughters with her.
Okay, so you have 2 daughters with her.
Yeah.
So after the 2, so the same thing happened with her probably than with my wife, where she's like, you need to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
We love our kids, by the way.
Yeah.
To the moon and back. But just like, I used to joke about us having 3 kids, and she's like, no, I think we're good with 2.
Yeah.
I think we're good with 2. And I'm like, you know what? I think you're right, honey. But I'm scared to actually go through with, like, because I don't like knives. I don't like anything being inside my skin.
Well, let me put it this way. The vasectomy is not that bad. It's they go in, this is not even a joke, though. This is totally serious. They tell you before you come in to shave your balls, okay, as best you can.
Yep.
So I did.
Okay.
I walk into the room, and there's this big black lady in there, and she goes, drop your drawers. And I was like, what? And she's just standing there. She goes, drop your drawers.
She's the ball checker?
Yeah. And this is not, again,
It's like
I know this is
assembly line
going
of
to
ball
sound
check.
like a joke, but she
Fucking
puts
better.
music on and she
put music on? Oh, I love this lady already.
fucking Smooth Criminal
Can you get
while
her on
she's
here?
shaving my balls. Smooth Criminal. I'm not kidding. She's shaving my balls, and
Do you
I'm
remember
like,
her name?
no.
You got to shout out to her. This is so beautiful.
She was a big black lady.
She put Smooth Criminal on.
She did. Yeah.
So did your name?
I'm like sitting there going, don't get hard, because it's just like, please don't get hard.
Oh, dude.
And then I lay down on the table. She like puts like this, I think it's like iodine all over me and everything. And again, I'm like, don't get hard. Like she's like rubbing everything.
She's stroking your dick with iodine. You're like, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next song that comes on is like, another nut bites the dust. It's like, that didn't come on, but that would have been perfect. But then basically these 2 doctors come in right away, and they keep their go. I mean, it was like in seconds, just boom, boom, couple shots. That didn't feel good, but within seconds, I don't feel anything. 20 minutes later, it's done, and it takes about a week
me like nauseous
to heal.
even just thinking about it, though. I have this weird problem with like things going through my skin. Like people have asked me too, like, why do you have a problem with like, I don't like getting my blood drawn. I got tons of tattoos. I'm like, that's it goes into the epidermis, but it stops. It doesn't poke through it.
Well,
so
dude,
how did you handle, like, were you not grossed out when, even with the numbing, you're still just like, what are you guys doing around my crotch?
you can feel some tugging, but yeah,
that's,
but you don't feel it. You just feel like
the doctor in there pushing stuff around.
Yeah.
Tying knots like a shoelace.
It's kind of weird.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing that's crazy is like, after all this happened, of course, I was going through divorce soon after. A while later, I meet who ends up becoming my wife.
Yeah.
Who's awesome. She's an amazing artist and just one of the best people I've ever known in my life.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She's an amazing mother to my kids and everything.
Beautiful.
She comes from a very Italian family, and children are really important. And she started looking into a reversal, and I'm like, oh fuck. Like, so
can everyone just leave my crotch section alone? Everyone's like, cut them open, stitch them up, cut them back open again.
So the reversal was way worse experience for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First of all, I sort of have a lot against religion and religious things for very good reasons.
Yeah, you like escape from a cult, basically.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, of course.
And we go to this place in Rhode Island. It's more affordable than Chicago, so we went there to do it. And they've got a real...
It's this guy Vinny's place. Yeah. He's got a spaghetti place out front. In the back, he cuts you up.
He's actually just like... We find out that he's like this super religious
on spaghetti
person.
Noodles? Okay.
Well, no, like we looked online and they said, oh, the only thing is the guy's like super religious and he might ask to pray with you before. And I'm like, Jesus. Okay.
Does that bum you out if someone does that?
I just think it's...
I love Christopher Hitchens.
Funny.
He's like talking about like when he was dying, he was talking about like, don't pray for me or what. He's like, he seemed like a gracious guy, but
it's like voodoo or something. There's no difference. It's just.
But like if it makes someone but does it like annoy you like time wise? You're like, I gotta go, or does it make you like worry that like, does this guy know what he's doing if he's spending time doing that?
That's what I was.
Is that what you're thinking? So you've seen I find that like if you've had. Like I have friends whose parents are alcoholics, right? Mm-hmm. And they can't drink regular. Yeah. They just can't drink regular because they've seen the worst side. Like they choose not to drink. My parents didn't drink at all. And my brother and I have gone through our phases of being drunkards ourselves. But I feel like I can moderately enjoy alcohol because I haven't seen like the worst side of it. But I have the same thing with friends with religion. I never had bad problems with religion in my life. My parents didn't force stuff down my throat. My culture, the Jewish culture where I come from and the Christian culture, whatever you call it, Western society, everyone's been pretty cool about it aside from a few isolated incidents,
Yeah.
And so like it doesn't bother me so much, and I support people as long as they're not like ruining other people's values and jump. But I know like of friends like yourself, like you're not the first person that I know that's like coming from basically like surviving a cult.
Well, yeah. Well, for me,
so you're like fucking anything about it.
Every religion is a cult.
Yeah,
that's just
to a degree.
If you're being honest about it, it is there's a Catholic cult, Jewish cult, Christian cult.
Culture is a cult. It's the first word in culture. I mean, like any kind of group thought, you're just like, how deep is this group thought? Like, there's a certain level of like stay in line and follow everyone and keep the group like civilized society. And then there's a line where it's like, are y'all zombies? Is anybody thinking? Are we doomed because of your zombiness? So there's definitely degrees of it. But I'm fascinated. Well, I just wanted to make note of that.
When we got to the room.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before that, they said, just so you know that he might want to pray with you. And I was just like, oh, whatever.
Sure.
So
if he's going to cut my balls better, I'll pray with him.
So just before it starts, he goes, would you guys mind if I pray with you before I do this? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, whatever. He didn't just pray. He said the whole story of Jesus and all. He like started at the beginning, did all this stuff.
Oh wow!
Talked about the Sermon on the Mount, went on and on and on. Crucifixion, resurrection, blah blah blah. Please accept people into your heart. All this crazy stuff. And then he was like shangala hangala hangala, and
it went speaking in tongues.
20 minutes. And I'm sitting there looking at my wife. This dude's gonna fucking cut my balls.
That's terrifying. I would be scared too.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were gonna say a little like, "Dear Lord, please give me the strength to do the right surgery on this man and have him."
It went for 20
recovery.
minutes.
Even God's like, "Hey, wrap it up, motherfucker!" Like, like you're a freak.
So I was nervous, and then we go into the room, and I lay down on this. It's like it looks more like some kind of like Japanese massage type table. It's like a wooden thing. It's not like a medical table.
Board certified?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
want to make sure.
But this so. I get on there. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
And they say that they're only doing local anesthetics. So this is where everything turned into a nightmare. It's supposed to last an hour, and mine lasted 2.5 hours.
The surgery or the anesthetics?
The surgery. They just give me local shots.
So you were awake for this as well. See, I don't know if I could. I feel like I'd pass out and throw up. And
but I felt the whole thing. They gave me shots. And like a couple minutes later, all of a sudden I feel a cut, and I'm like, oh
my god, dude.
And they're like, oh no, and another guy comes over and gives me a shot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, thinking, hopefully that doesn't happen again. A few seconds later, oh fuck,
you could feel the knife?
Yes,
dude.
And so they gave me more shots. And this was
you didn't pray with him. You laughed, and God's like, you want to feel the pain?
Oh, and I forgot this little detail. He also put on worship music. So
during your surgery,
I'm sitting there feeling so much anxiety because every few seconds I'm feeling this crazy pain, and meanwhile it's "Behold the Lamb of God."
Oh, it's not even good gospel.
No,
it's not even Willie Nelson or Tom
no. It's literally like cheesy worship music.
Dear Lord, I know you don't even like that music.
And he's humming along while, and I'm just like, so 2.5 hours, and then right towards the end of it, he goes, "Okay, we have a decision to make here. We're having a very difficult time. Whoever did this surgery before really never wanted you to have kids again. We're going to have to pull your vas tubes out a little bit more, so you're going to feel that, and we have to do that in order to connect it. So it's not going to be pleasant."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, just do it. And the whole time,
I feel like every man listener right now is cringing, going like white knuckling their steering wheel.
There was a giant mosquito on the ceiling, and I remember looking at this mosquito, and they start pulling on the stuff, and in my mind I was like, freedom. Like that's how I felt, like total Braveheart, like.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I almost passed out from that.
Of course.
And then they ended up
passing out here.
Well, after. Right at that moment, my wife came in because I said she could come in, and I was holding it together the whole time, just like in pain, but like breathing. As soon as she came in, I started crying because it was just like
so intense.
Yeah, and she passed out because she saw everything. Out. It was super intense.
Wow.
And then.
Please tell me the doctor is not still performing this stuff now.
Well, dude, this is the weirdest part about it is I'll try to make it quick because I don't want to keep going on about this, but
I don't know if you could stop.
He sits us down afterwards and he says everything looks good. You still have to get tested in a few months to see if it worked, but he goes, you're gonna be sore. You're gonna it's gonna hurt when you go to pee for the first time. We're staying in a hotel there, and he goes, so just take it easy. tomorrow night you're going to have to remove the pin, and you could do it by yourself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And we're just like, okay, we don't know what that means. And I was kind of not thinking clearly anyways.
Yeah, the pin.
Yeah, the pin, okay? So we go back to the hotel room, and...
If my wife's listening, I'm never having a vasectomy. Just so you know, babe. If you're listening to this episode, I'm never doing this.
So we go to the hotel room. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm laying down. My wife gets me some wine. Just chilling out. A few hours go by.
Are you relieved, though, that it's all over? Are you like,
yes.
Thank you, God? Like, you're atheist, but you're like,
thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, math equation.
I'd like to thank an ancient Jewish man for
yeah, dude,
helping me with this. So a couple hours go by, and I have to go to the bathroom. I'm afraid to because it just hurts.
Yeah.
So she helps me walk to the bathroom.
So your wife's just holding your arm, and kind of hobbling in.
And then she's like, "You need me to help you?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." I shut the door. I have like a giant pad thing.
Yeah.
I take that off, and as I'm starting to pee, I see a stream of blood squirting under my pee into the toilet like a faucet, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
What the fuck?
And so I go, "Jackie," and she's like, "What?" And I go, "What?" And I look. So you know what a tendon looks like, right?
Dude, I feel like I'm gonna dude, I can't even believe
so you know like a tendon, it's like it almost looks like a tubey, like fleshy colored tubey thing. So I look down because I'm like, where's this blood coming from? There's like, it looks like a tendon is sticking out of, I think it's my vas tube. It looks like it's sticking out of my balls, and there's blood coming out of it like a hose.
What the fuck
is going on? And there is a fucking safety pin. Not a medical wonder of science, but a safety pin going through my balls into this tube thing, sewn shut. And that's when I pass out second time. And my wife...
I would pass out too.
Yeah.
I don't...
Because I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck did he do to me? And I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, she calls him. She's like, my husband's like really pissed off. And he's like, what did you do? Like, why is there a safety pin in him? And he's like, oh, don't worry.
It's totally normal.
I do this. So I'm like, that's what I have to remove the next night as a safety pin. So skip ahead because there's a lot of stuff. But the next night, all day long, I'm dreading this thing because I know by a certain point I'm supposed to remove it. I go into the bathroom.
Ooh, this is so tense.
I go down.
My palms are sweaty.
It's all like I go down to touch the pin and it hurts and it's all like slimy.
Yeah.
And gross. And I'm trying to undo it.
Yeah.
And it's all swollen. So it's like tight. So I'm like fighting to undo this pin, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just like in pain. Finally, I get the fucking thing undone, and I'm like, oh, and I pull it out, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm like holding the safety pin. Then the tube is there, and I'm supposed to remove this tube. It's like a straw thing. I pull the tube out, throw it in the garbage, and I look down, no exaggeration, there's a hole in my balls the size of an eyeball.
Just a giant hole. And you're like, this can't be right.
I was like, Jackie, they gave me a vagina. I've got a vagina in my balls.
Greg, I got a mangina.
It was like literally a hole. I'm like holding it. And I'm like, is my stuff going to fall out? Like there's a hole there. So again,
how is this happening in America with all of our regulations and standards?
This is why it wasn't. This is why it wasn't $20,000. It was $2,000. But this guy has a high success rate. So he goes, "Don't worry, that's normal. Tomorrow it'll be fine." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Oh, so my wife got me a tampon.
Yeah,
or maxi pad. Sorry, not a tampon.
Yeah,
she got
stuffed the hole with it. Oh.
So I put a maxi pad on over my my little vagina in my balls.
Your ball wound. Your ball hole.
I woke up the next morning and it was sealed shut. Like, did you know that your balls are like magic skin? That's like magic skin, dude. It's sealed shut.
Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy. So basically 6 months later, she's pregnant with my third daughter.
Dude.
And she's almost 2 now. So it worked.
It worked.
So
thank you, doctor.
But isn't that
the prayers, dude? So he kept praying. After he hung up the phone, he kept praying.
He just kept praying.
Whatever I did back there.
I hope I don't lose my practice because I think I fucked this one up.
Man, that is so... You know...
It took 6 weeks to heal, too, by the way. It's supposed to take a week and a half. It took 6 weeks to heal.
I'm just glad it did heal, and you're alive here today, and your balls worked, and you have your third kid, and it's beautiful. But that was such an intense story. I can't handle like gory movies. I can't handle I used to when I was younger, but as I got older, it just trips me the hell out.
Yeah,
and like I was like, just you telling the story, I was like, oh my god,
dude! I just had a colonoscopy to be safe because my younger brother had one and he had cancerous pulps. He's fine.
Yep.
But they were like, you should get one just to be safe. And I did. They gave me a drug called Twilight. They said, don't worry, you're not going to wake up in it. I fucking woke up in the middle of getting like railed. I was getting railed, man. I woke up in the middle of the whole thing. I have like the worst luck.
You're the medical like traumatized medical patient.
I'm like, my body couldn't move, and I'm like looking around with my eyes like this, and I look around and I can see the screen.
You had that where you couldn't move, but your eyes.
Yeah, and I could see the TV screen, and I could see inside my body, and I could feel them going inside me.
But you couldn't even say anything, right?
No, I didn't. I couldn't. I was just looking around, and then a nurse goes, "He's awake." And then next thing I know, I start like fading, and then I woke up in another room.
Dude,
and the nurse came in. She's like, how you doing? I was like, not gonna remember anything, huh? I woke up in the middle of it, dude.
How's everything? How's your colon?
It was fine.
Got a good colon?
Yeah, I was totally
The doctor was like, we went in through this hole in your balls, actually. It was very convenient.
Yeah. That was actually a shortcut.
Yeah, I've never.
Very quick.
We call it a shortcut. I've never actually taken that route before, but you're the first.
Gosh.
He fist bumps you, and then another doctor walks in. I want you to meet our new colonoscopy doctor. It's that guy. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man. You know what?
Mind if I pray real quick?
Yeah. Just before they put me under, the doctor was explaining some things, and all I could think about was how nasty his fingers looked.
Oh god!
Because he had like these gross fingernails, and like they were cracked.
Like he's a mechanic.
Like and I'm like, you're
gonna reach inside of me?
Yeah,
dude. I'm not. I'm going. Anytime I need to do anything medical, I'm going to ask you for your referral, and then I'm going to just cross them off the list. Be like, I
just have the worst luck, I think,
dude. But I mean, you've got some good luck, right? Your balls ended up working, so you went through some trauma.
And look, we found out in December that we were good to go. January pregnant, so it was pretty fast.
Okay, so let's go through your history. So your balls are fixed.
Yeah.
You started illustrating when you were how old?
I started working professionally when I was 15, as far as like doing private commissions and that sort of thing.
Doing what? Caricatures or faces?
Anything.
Or anything art-wise? Any kind of...
Yeah, I would draw animals for people, comics, whatever.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 18, I was doing like steady commissions. And then basically I got to the point where I realized, oh my gosh, I started realizing that you could do this for magazines.
Yep.
Like you can do caricature illustrations. So I started like following all these artists. There was no like social media really to follow. So I was going to bookstores and starting to notice the same artists here and there. And so I started like studying and teaching myself how to do what they were doing.
Yeah.
Long story short, I ended up getting rejected for years, like not hearing back from magazines. And then do you remember Cracked magazine?
Of course.
So
I thought Cracked and Mad were the same. I thought Cracked was like a division of Mad.
Yeah.
I found out that they were
just a ripoff. Yeah. Well, one time I was walking downtown and I saw Cracked magazine. I didn't know they were around still. And it was terrible. Terrible artwork. The cover was just terrible.
Yeah, it's a benchmarked thing.
Yeah.
No offense. I mean, we know some Cracked writers now.
Yeah. No, but it was bad. I had the idea of like, man, this is really terrible. Maybe if I write them and send them my work,
it'll be good enough for them.
Yeah. So I wrote and I said, I didn't even know you guys were around. No offense. I just saw the last cover and like, let's put it this way. It was so bad that I didn't feel bad for saying how bad it was.
Totally.
Because it was like you have to know that's bad.
They don't take my help. That's on
like
them.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
Like don't kid yourself. That's embarrassing.
Yep.
Well, they wrote me back. He said, thanks for writing us. Your work is great. We would love for you to work with us. By the way, I did that last cover. He was the editor. And he goes, would you like to do the next cover? So I did a couple covers for them and inside work. They never paid me.
Like they flaked on you?
They never paid me.
Do you think that was their scheme because you insulted them? They're like,
no, they were just folding already.
Oh, okay.
And so 2 years later, they went bankrupt, and someone rebought Cracked, and they paid me. The new people paid me. It was like $2,000 what they owed or whatever, which was really nice. And then they started hiring me. So I started working for the new Cracked. I did a bunch of stuff for them. But what ended up happening is I started realizing I should go and check out all the terrible publications. So I went to Borders and Barnes & Nobles, and I started looking for there's magazines that are all in black and white with not very good artwork. I would contact them.
So you devise like a system. You're like, I know how to pitch to people that really fucking suck at this.
They need me. And so
Genius.
That's how I started getting my first covers.
Yeah.
Because I realized it's a catch-22. Like, no one wants to hire you if you've not been published, but how can you show them if no one's going to hire you, So I started
it's like that Alice
working.
Cooper song. Can't go to school because I don't have a gun. And you're like, I can't get a gun because I didn't go to school, so I don't have a job. Yeah, it's like what comes first, this chicken or the egg?
That's so funny.
So you used that pitch to get the experience to be like, I have a ton of experience. I've done all these covers.
Yeah, well, something strange happened. I was doing stuff. There was a magazine called The Wittenberg Door, and it was a religious satire magazine. And it has no connection to my past. It just happened to be a religious satire magazine.
Yeah.
And they started using my work because, again, they were really bad quality. And I started getting covers. So I started actually developing, and it's almost like stand-up. They would give me a cover, and I would try something out, like a new technique or a new style that I never did before. So I was kind of using them to, see what I could do.
Yeah.
And then building a portfolio. And then eventually, they gave me a cover of Napoleon Dynamite, and he's it's like a communion thing where he's got his hands out, and he's got a basket of tater tots in one hand and a thing of milk in the other, and that's like his communion.
Yeah.
And I just thought, man, this could be like a mad cover. And then something just clicked in my mind, and I was like, you know what? Stop thinking about these covers as if they're practice or they're only paying $200 a cover.
Knock it out of the park.
Let's pretend this one is for Mad Magazine and they're paying you like $3,000 or whatever. And so I got a model to pose for me. I lit them. I went to Chipotle. I got a red basket. I just took it. They got plenty. I went and got some tater tots, cooked those bad boys up, fill it up, got some milk carton. I just did a full on Norman Rockwell photo shoot. So I had all the reference and the lighting. And then I did at that time the most kick-ass painting I had ever done. And when I handed it in, they were like, holy crap. And I never worked for them again. The next job I got was Time Magazine.
Dude. That is so, it gives me goosebumps. That is so inspiring. The fact that you took it upon yourself to what am I doing? I should, you're your own boss. You crack the whip on yourself and you said let's take it to the next level. Yeah. I love that, dude. That is so inspiring.
Yeah, because I had a bad attitude for a little bit because I was like, they're only paying me $200.
I'm not going to waste too much time on this shit. But
and then I was like, wait a minute. I'm having an opportunity here to do a cover. I should make it look really good. And
it worked.
It worked. And they never contacted me again because I have a feeling that they felt bad because they never had a cover like that.
Yep.
It was it still holds up today, even though it was almost 20 years ago or something.
Dude, that's so rad.
It's weird.
I want to see it. Can we post it on the
sure.
Social media when we post this episode? Oh, dude, that's so cool. I love that story. Because it just inspires me, and I love there's something about that get or done sense where you're like, I'm gonna fucking knock it out of the park because this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You saw it for something other, you had that negative voice in your head. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to
well, it was just interesting.
For you, but
Yeah, it was just interesting. And then what happened with Time Magazine is I get a phone call, and this guy's like, hey, so-and-so, I'm an art director for Time Magazine. And I'm just like, yes, I'm listening. And in my mind, I don't even know what he's going to say, but I'm already like, yep, whatever it is. Yeah, you need me. You want
deal, signed, agreed.
It's done. So he's like, oh yeah, so we want five or six people painted for the Time People of the Year, 100 People of the Year thing.
Yep.
And it was due in a few days, and I was literally just pacing back and forth I can't believe it. And he's like, is this fine for you? Now, here's the thing. I had never painted that many people that in a realistic style in that short amount of time. So I was like, yeah, I can do it. When I hung up the phone, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yep.
So
growth is coming. Personal growth is on its way.
I always tell people about this moment because it basically, I look at it this way. Metaphorically, we all have wings, And how are you going to know if your wings work if you don't test them out? So at some point, you've got to jump off a cliff and just test out your wings. And that's what it was. It's like, I got to paint 6 people, hyper realistic, and I only have like 3 days. So guess what? Not really taking lunch breaks.
Yep.
And I think the last 2 nights were all-nighters in a row.
Wow.
And I actually handed it in before it was due, and he was like, nobody ever does that. He's like, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I was like, whew. So, but that's how it went. Like from there on, it was just like, then Golf, Sports Illustrated Golf would, hey, could you do this? And just slowly, it went from maybe making a couple $100 a month or so doing my art to now, like I was getting like $1,500, $3,000. I'm like, this is crazy.
All of a sudden, you're an adult making a living off of your art.
Yeah,
it's so awesome.
It was like a strange, and it just kept, the more I work, and the more I, kept going, the more connections, and then I started really reaching out to with social media. I started a blog that every day I was doing sketches and showing process, and I started growing a fan base because there wasn't very many people doing that at the time,
dude. Yeah.
So I started and then because of that, I got a teaching gig. So everything just doors just kept basically the more I worked and the more I kept pushing forward, just things just would open up.
Yeah.
So
I love that you took the steps. I mean, you took the steps to bite off more than you can chew, because you're like, well, we're going to see if I can fly. I'm hopping off this cliff. Let's see if I can fly. Like, it almost feels like you have to do that.
Yeah.
In life, to have growth is to have some faith, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But just have faith in yourself and your own experience, just to be like, all right, well, it's this or nothing anyways. And what do I got to lose? Because man, there's that inner voice on, the devil on one shoulder that's just like, nah, be timid and play it safe and be careful.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want to, if let's even say you get to be an old person, do you want to just be old and be like, yeah, I was a real fucking wuss. Like, I didn't take any chances. Like, but I made it here. And you're like, that's fucking pathetic. Versus, I bit off stuff and said I'll fucking handle it. And the more I meet and I'm around other successful people, that I'm like, dude, it's like, that is a common trait where you're just like, yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah,
I can handle it.
And someone was just asking me the other day, like, are you nervous when you do your jobs, and do you feel challenged still? Is it like, they're asking me all these questions in an art panel? I was at the Lightbox Expo, and I was like, I'm never nervous. I know exactly what I can do. And so I don't take on a job if I don't feel like I can do it. But sometimes I take on a job and I'm like, oh, this one's going to be challenging. But I like it enough that I'm going to I'm going to go for it. And I'm starting to get into doing movie posters now, which I'm really excited about. I
can't wait to see your style.
I've done a couple, but I'm not 100% sure. But this company I just got connected with while I was here. There's a chance they're trying to pitch me for the Eddie Murphy's Coming to America 2 movie.
Yes. Oh, dude.
So I might get to do that poster. So I'm crossing my fingers, because I think they want to do it make it kind of vintage. I think the first cover was painted.
Yeah, because the in that era of comedy, a lot of covers, there's National Lampoons, and they would just have really cool. Oh, dude, I used to love.
So that's what I'm like. I'm hoping that starts to turn into something, because that would just be a blast. I would really, and again, that's like a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done some movie posters before, but this, if it turned into more of a steady thing, it's more, it pays better, but also it's more, it's seen more. It gets out there more, and that's really what you want, is you want more exposure. So you get more work.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a compounding effect. Oh man, well, I'm stoked for you, and I wish you the best at that. I'm excited to see your movie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I love your style, so it'll be really rad. Because when I found you on Instagram, and I was just like, dude, I love when I see illustration that I like. There's specific things where I just look at, I'm like, and I just you know what I mean, that primal sense where I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so to see that, I guess getting to know your story, and then seeing where that can go, that your dreams are still wide open, and you can from.
And that's why too, like we've talked about this, but like I'm starting to get into doing stand up, and it's not because I think I have this grand delusion I'm going to be a famous stand up comedian. It's like it's another way to push myself creatively.
Yeah.
And right now I'm just enjoying the writing process. I'm enjoying hanging out with my entire life. I get all my friends to laugh all the time, and it's the best feeling.
It really is.
All growing up, my parents would be in stitches. Their friends, it's just always. I love it. So I'm like, this is something I've always been interested in. It seems scary and challenging. That's exactly what I need in my life.
That's why I have to do it.
Yeah,
totally.
I kind of, it's just for me. It's not for fame or anything else. It's just like I want to do it because it's like
that's
last
on
night,
record now, dude.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Well, it's been on record for a while. I don't know if I think I told you about the Steve Byrne thing, right?
Yeah.
So Steve Byrne invited me to do 5 minutes for him, and it's insane.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if he's trying to humiliate me or what's going on. He seems like a really sweet guy, so I doubt that. But I'm not going to turn down that opportunity.
No,
I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to be doing open mics soon in Chicago. Try to prep for it, but mainly I've been just writing and rewriting and performing to friends.
So rad.
So yeah, it's fun. And the cool thing is that my wife is cool about it. She's like, oh, this is she's like, dude, you're 41. Why all of a sudden you're going to start doing stand up? It's like, I don't have any hobbies. This is my hobby.
Babe, let me live and grow like a tree branch.
Yeah.
Let me experience.
But she was like totally cool about it,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good partner too.
Oh yeah.
You always want to be and have the partner that's like, cool. What do you want to do? How do you want to experience life? Go get him, Tiger. Here's a coffee. Kick ass.
Yeah.
And if you come back with your tail between your legs, then I'll support you then too.
Yeah.
And then they also have to
I think it's important, to like, it's even like the podcast that I started. It's another like avenue to to meet more people, but also to just learn and grow. And because I get inspired by people and I'm inspiring people that are listening.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that I'm adding to my week, know? So it's,
oh yeah, dude. Well, tell me about it, right? Podcasting is like, the recording part's easy, but like prepping it and sending it out and multiple platforms. Everyone's like, is it on so-and-so? And you're like, oh yeah, it's on Apple Music. What else do you want? Is it on Spotify? It's on Spotify. Is it on you? It's on YouTube.
That's the thing that drives me nuts. There's this thing called Google. Yeah. Like people go, where do I find you on your YouTube channel? Just, my name, right?
Just type it into YouTube.
Type my name.
Please type it into YouTube.
It's so weird.
It's all good. Whatever. People are people, and everyone's overwhelmed with all the content out there, and they just want
I just think they're lazy.
We're used to clicking on a button. We're used to just clicking on a button. Like, do I have to leave Facebook to see your podcast? Like, maybe.
I even have my podcast episodes on my website. So if you're really lazy, you can go to my website.
Stay right there.
You can just see. Yeah.
What's your fantasy house geographic location?
Oh yeah.
You got to describe it to me visually.
Geographically, man. So I've lived in Chicago for over 20 years now, and I love the city, but I kind of been in this, I guess my fantasy house is like a really nice big house where I've got enough room for a huge studio, and it's like on a lake, and there's like a dock.
Oh,
we have like a boat.
Beautiful.
And I can go walk down on the dock and have coffee in the morning. I can go down there at night, smoke a pipe. Mm-hmm. I can sit and have a glass of wine after a long day.
So the dock's a big part of it.
Just like sitting by the water when the sun's going down. You can go fishing. Like that's the kind of thing that I would love in my life right now.
There's something simple too about a dock, because there's a lot of ways you can be waterfront, but the dock does something where it's like you're not on a deck that's back away from the water, you're over the water. But docks are generally pretty simple. They're wood, they're creaky. There's not a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you could put like a nice chair on there, and it's like, I know it sounds like, man, you sound like an old dude. You're going to sit there and smoke a pipe, but
whatever, dog.
My family's all from North Wisconsin, and every summer I go visit. It's in the wintertime for Christmas. I don't want to move where they are because they're in the middle of nowhere, way up at the top.
Yeah.
And it's isolated. They have one person that works in a post office, and the nearest grocery store is 45 minutes away. No, I don't want to isolate myself. I still want to be close enough to like a city.
Yeah.
But
the convenience of the city, but have a little bit of space.
But I want listen, I've been living in Chicago. The last apartment I lived in, I heard gunshots weekly. No longer, but it's an intense city. It's a tough city. It's a great city for many reasons, but also it's like after living there for so long, road rage is real. Like when I'm in a car now, I'm realizing that I become a different person, and like if someone honks their horn at me, like okay, I'll do a scenario. Let's say I'm driving. Mm-hmm. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Car behind me honks their horn.
Yeah.
It's like I hear "fuck you" when they honk.
You hear that
in my head.
You see red right away. You're like,
"Fuck you!"
All right.
But at first it's like "fuck you," and I'm like, Jesus, I can't go anywhere. I'm like sitting there, and they go, "Fuck you, fuck you," and I'm like, I can't fucking go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. And I start getting like so mad.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
break
"Fuck
anything in your
you."
own car?
I've got at one point, I got out of my car and I opened the door because I'm like, I go, like, you don't even know who I am. What if I was a psycho?
I was just gonna say,
what if I have a gun in my car? You're honking at me. You don't know who I am. What if I'm a crazy person?
I have
a baseball bat.
I thought you were going to say, you don't know who I am. I've illustrated for the cover of Time. And then you punch in their windshield.
No, that's the last thing in my mind.
I'm an illustrator, damn
I'm
it.
more like, what if I'm a psychopath?
Yeah, totally.
And what if I go up and just start smashing your car with a baseball bat? And that's what drives me nuts. You're in a city with that many millions of people, and you're honking at somebody?
Well, what if you got out of your car, though, and they're a psychopath, and they pull out a gun for you going into the car? So both of you guys need to chill the fuck out.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, so... Yeah. I think about this peaceful lake house now.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting it. And me and the audience are feeling it. We know he needs this lake house.
Yes.
This is a psychological experiment.
I want to go fishing.
Let's go to the
I want to just catch fish and relax. Oh, man, that just sounds awesome.
What's the lake house look like from the outside? Like, paint a picture of it for us.
Oh, man. Like, ideally, I don't know, man. I was thinking... like really awesome, like log cabin type thing, but
okay.
like, but not like a little log cabin, but like really nice, almost like lodgy.
Yeah. Lodge is a good explanation.
Like a nice like fire pit or a fireplace inside, and just.
Oh, we're going inside. All right, well, let's go inside then.
Oh okay. Yeah, we go inside. Okay. But here's the thing, I wouldn't want it to be like a North Wisconsin. There's not going to be like deer mounts and like bear rugs and shit like that. It's going to be like kind of modernish, I would think.
Describe that to us. Like I like this already.
Like an open kitchen. Mm-hmm. That's like, man, like with an island, a nice island with some stools and just a big open kitchen, maybe 2 ovens, so you can like have a bunch of people over and cook nice meals.
What kind of what color theme would we say the kitchen is? Like cabinetry and like the countertops.
Man, I leave that shit to my wife. I don't even care about that.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Your fantasy house. You're like, it's my fantasy house that someone else takes over having to make that decision.
Yeah, because she's going to be there. But here's the thing.
What would she pick for the countertop? Granite? Marble?
She's actually becoming a real estate agent as well.
Yeah.
And so she's got very good taste. So I trust her.
Okay.
So mostly everything, I'm like, she's pretty good at it. But I imagine in my fantasy house, I would like to have, I love like Indian food, Mexican food. I love Mexican food, Thai. So instead of like ordering that, I've got people on rotation. Like I've got Maria, a Mexican chef who actually comes to my kitchen and makes authentic Mexican.
Oh yeah.
And then Tuesday night, this beautiful Indian woman comes over and she makes Indian food.
What's her name? If the other lady's Maria, what's the Indian lady's name?
Her name is also Maria.
But it's the Indian version of Maria.
Yes.
So, do you call her Indian Maria?
Yeah, Indian Maria. There's Mexican Maria and Indian Maria. And then there's Italian Maria. She comes over and makes spaghettios and stuff.
Spaghettios. Yeah. Is that even a real thing in Italy?
I don't know. Could be. But yeah, like that would be awesome because that's like the next level, like the real people that really know it. I mean, listen, I grew up in North Wisconsin. We used to go get Chinese food. All white people worked there. There was no Chinese people making the Chinese food.
It was like white people's version of Chinese food.
But it was actually like a happy walk.
Yeah.
But it's all white people.
How was the food? Was it any good?
I mean, no. I mean, then it was.
Yeah.
But then I moved to Chicago and actually got culture in my life. I was like, oh, that stuff was shit.
This is
like
junk. How did I even like that? Yeah.
It's
Like
disgusting.
when I used to eat Sizzler when I was a kid, it was be all excited when we were going to Sizzler, and then you're an
Yeah.
adult, you're like, what kind of trash is this? It should be illegal. So your 3 foods that you're going to have, or your 3 main chefs on rotation, are going to be Indian, Italian, and Mexican.
And I just realized something that's kind of embarrassing. I can't even really eat Indian food anymore. I love it so much. So that's sad.
Why can't you eat it? Because it's too irritating to your stomach? Or
Like in the last few years, I just get crazy reactions.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I love Indian food
So-
too, and I could just go crazy with
Yeah.
it. It's so heavy. I don't eat it very much because I can't stop eating it. I don't know if you're a food addict. I have an addiction to food where like I could be full like a goldfish. And I just
no.
keep going till we run out. If I see the plates that have food on them, I'm like, oh, we have to clean these plates because we're not throwing the food away. This won't save well.
You have that guilty like this is a nice meal.
It's a weird,
Yeah.
it's a weird like practical like OCD obsession. But Indian food, like when I get it, I go crazy, and it is so heavy that I kind of have to recover for like a day or two.
Yeah.
You know, like stomach wise, and just
Yep.
the stuff that it
That's
does.
what I mean. Is I start
love
to
it.
feel like it's affecting me differently than it's ever done before.
So okay, so if we go into your living room area, you said there's a fire pit. Is that in the living room, or where is that?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Okay.
it would be like
Describe
a
this
a fireplace that looks like I kind of like imagine like a kind of like old timey vintagey kind of fireplace with bricks, and it's going to be perfect around Christmas to hang some stockings. Got the kids' stockings there.
Yeah.
Be really nice. But I just love that smell. Just the smell of having that, and hey, you guys want to roast some marshmallows in the fucking living room? We can do that. Let's make some s'mores. Let's make some s'mores and watch, some awesome movie. Yeah, there'd be like a nice big flat screen, I mean, it's funny because it's almost like in a way what my apartment is like now, but I'm thinking more massive, like more space.
That's
you
cool.
know?
So you already have you've customized your apartment a little bit, like to the way like it's your home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's very like homey.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it's not a transient situation.
No,
where
and in
it's like-
Chicago, we've got a 2-floor apartment, so it's like huge.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's rad. Is it in the city of Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kicking
So
ass.
I have like a really nice studio space. It's the best. For years, my studio space was always in a small, like bedroom in an apartment.
Yeah.
And it was just like, ugh. But now
Cramped.
I've got like, basically it's the same size as our living room / kitchen, but it's downstairs, so I have that much space for a studio.
So you in real life you work in your home because you have your own studio
Yeah.
at home, right? So does that interfere at all? Because I know, like for me, like I have
Yeah,
two young kids. It's
the
very
only
difficult.
reason it could be distracting sometimes because I've got a 2-year-old who like if I'm trying to record a podcast and stuff, every once in a while you'll hear her like scream or something.
That adds character to it, though,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
like if you're trying to, if like you have a deadline and you have like an illustration that needs to be due, and you're just like, it's so easy to be like, I'm gonna hang out and
no.
listen to some music. No,
No.
you just focus.
Cause I mostly my schedules. I try to not work nights or weekends. So when I take a job on, I think about okay, how much time is this one going to take me to do? Every once in a while, I have to work nights.
Yeah.
But my whole family is understandable. Like
Comes with the territory of you
well,
doing running your own business.
Yeah, I mean, I try to make it up for, well, I'm the one that's paying for everything, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
But also, I make it up. So like, maybe after a crazy deadline where I had to kill myself, we'll spend a couple days, like we'll go to the zoo or do something. Just
I feel
make
you.
it up.
I try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same situation with me too. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I didn't think I was going to be one of those kind of daddies, but I have to work right now. Everyone leave me
Yeah.
alone. And then you go, but tomorrow we're going out for food. We're going to go to the park. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So, okay, inside your actual fantasy house, I see your actual fantasy house.
Yeah.
Inside your
It's
fantasy house, so you do you have a studio in there as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Studio
describe
is
this
super
pappy.
important. Well, first of all, my studio is going to have a side room that is just full of models, real people, like beautiful women, ugly women, fat women, skinny women, every kind of clothing you think. They all live there. There's going to be fat fucking dudes, black dudes, white dudes, Mexicans. Everybody's going to be in there. They just live there.
Yeah.
And
To be your models?
Yes, and they also do have their own webcams so they can make money and help pitch in for the rent and everything. So I got webcam rooms set up for all my models.
Yeah.
So they're like, jerking themselves and doing everything just to make
ends meet.
Yeah. And anytime I need a model to pose for, let's just say I got to draw, some politician, be like, hey, George, your body frame is just like Trump. Put on a black suit, put on a long tie, come out here and pose for me. And then that would be perfect. So I just like it's almost like an assembly line. Like, I need two beautiful women and an old lady. And they just come out and they put whatever I want to wear. And I no longer have to shoot photos of myself for reference. I don't have to put on dresses anymore.
That's what I used to do when I used to draw. Do my own thing. I'd be like, all right, I'll be this character. Let me look at my hand, then try to take a picture in the mirror, and then And you're
so that would be
perfect.
Dresses?
Okay.
So this is like a magic room because there's just like you go in there and it just goes. It's like in the Matrix.
So hypothetically, if we were in the room right now and you. Like for let's say the fantasy house, like the film crew is at your house filming it, and you're like, what would be the scene that you would be working on?
What would I be working on?
Yeah, like what would be a scene if you had any models at your fingertips? Like, all right, I need you guys to pose for this painting or this drawing.
Well, I mean, like for example, like I just finished a movie, a poster for Pop TV's Hot Date, and the two characters they posed for me for references, and so I use that to like build the painting.
Yeah.
So I would just be like, I could just pull out any one of my models and put them in any position that I needed. And then let's just say I've got to paint, I don't know, Michelle Pfeiffer or some older actress, and she needs to be in a certain position, but I can't get Michelle Pfeiffer to do it, but I have good references of her face, so I'll just get an older attractive lady I have to wear what I want her to wear, pose her how I want, and then when I draw her, I'll just draw Michelle Pfeiffer's face on her.
Yeah.
And it'd be awesome. I can light her any way I want.
Yeah.
And people are being like, man.
I can't believe you got Michelle to do that.
Yeah. So that would be awesome.
I can't believe you got Michelle on that Sibian.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When you go into that room, who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
They're free to do whatever they want. Free will. Right? Yeah. I'm like sort of like their God. But see, just like God, I make them do things to pay for their sins. So that's why they have to have their separate cam jobs.
Yep.
Because I know it's humiliating for them and everything, but they got to pay their dues.
Yep. It teaches humility.
Yeah. So it's like the side room is sort of like Earth.
Okay.
And my fantasy house is sort of like heaven or whatever.
A celestial
realm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else in your studio? Anything else we got to cover?
Oh man, I've got all my computer stuff set up. Basically what I would have now. I'm going to have easels, like so I can do giant paintings if I want. Even scaffolding if I have to do a huge like Chuck Close type painting. I never have to go to an art store because I've just got. It's like fucking Jim Carrey. I have like everything. Yeah. Every single paint I would need, every medium. It would just be the bomb, and it would be awesome to be able to have. I know this is really nerdy, but artists will get this. It's got to be northern lighting that comes into the studio, so I have the most pure level lighting, because that's when I'm doing my oil paintings. I have the best lighting in the
It's beautiful.
So that's what it would just be.
That's a sweet touch.
Like a vinyl player, which I have already got it because I like to listen to records when I'm painting and stuff.
What would we be listening to hypothetically right now?
Oh man, it could be anything from the Black Keys to the Rolling Stones to Billie Holiday, Queen. I mean, just
all four of those sound fantastic. To be honest with you,
it just depends on the mood.
Yep. What would it be right now? What mood would you be in?
Oh, man.
That Black Keys album that Ike Turner was supposed to produce that was super fantastic.
The new one?
No, it's from a few years ago, but it was just so freaking good. And it was like it was kind of like after they did a bunch of like raw bluesy stuff. They did like I don't know 4 albums of raw bluesy. And then this one came out and it was like had almost like Pink Floydy kind of songs on it. You're like, what the hell? They are.
I think I know which one you're
amazing.
talking about.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wish I knew the name of that album. I need to look it up because I need to listen to it today.
You know what? There's a record that I actually did the cover for.
Oh shit!
And do you know who Sturgill Simpson is?
He's one of my favorites.
Okay,
Are you kidding me? Do I know who Sturgill Simpson is? Yeah. Speaking of people that are coming out of just doing one genre too, he's like just knocks it out of the park. Everything that guy makes.
Yeah,
that's soul.
Well,
holy shit!
It's not because I did the cover for this album. I actually really like that album.
You did the cover for
Meta. Yeah,
I
I can't think of it's like Metamorphic something.
Is that not his like big hit album?
That's his
big
hit.
That's his big hit. That's where I found out about him.
Yeah.
That album is amazing. It's like Waylon Jennings, but with like trippy lyrics.
I actually got a funny story about that.
Please.
So
this is a podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Funny story.
I didn't know who he was. A mutual friend of ours, also named Jason, introduced us in Nashville. He took us out to this awesome dinner. My friend also knows this like amazing like 4 or 5 star chef who just me and Sturgill made us the most amazing. We had our wives there, the best wine. And just kept bringing this awesome food. So it was an amazing night. So that's how I met him. Didn't know who he was. He showed me that album in his van. He had like a real shitty little minivan.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is good shit. Like I was amazed because I've met a lot of people. They're like, oh yeah, I write music and whatever. But this was really good. And then Jason's like, Sturgill, you should have Seiler do your album cover for you. He's like, that would be great. And I was like, yeah, man, that'd be cool. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it because I'm not going to do it for free just because we had a good night together. But then I wrote him and I'm like, you're
an artist, can you just whip this together for me? It's really simple.
Well, he wrote me and he's like, yeah, I really would love to work with you. He sent me the album to listen to. And he's like, okay, so what I was thinking of, doing like this thing, like turtles all the way down, like these turtles that are just stacked up on each other in space. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. And I said, we should put a crown of thorns on the top turtle head and then have like blood coming down on all the turtles and like, and he was like, dude, you're reading my mind. And
is that based off like one of his DMT trips? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because that's one of the first songs on the album is Turtles. Yeah.
Yep. And then he goes, he's like, I asked him, like, when is this due by? And he's like, oh, I need like a final next week. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. And I'm about to go to Wisconsin for Christmas. And I'm like, man, I said, I don't know, bro. I'm only really going to be able to have like a couple days to do this. Like, and he's like, oh, what could you do in a couple days? And I was like, I don't know, man. Let me think about it. He's like, you know what? If you just did a sketch, I would use that. And I'm like, no, dude. No. I can't just use, I'm not going to just do a sketch. I can't.
I've already heard your album.
Yeah.
I'm not just giving you a sketch.
Yeah, and also it's like, I don't want that out there.
Yeah,
like,
and people looking at it. Yeah.
So then he goes, how about a really cool portrait? And I was like, oh, man, I don't know. And then he sent me this old Willie Nelson album with a portrait. Yep. And I was like, oh,
I know
okay.
the exact one you're talking about, too.
I
love that
I
cover.
think we could do something cool. And I was like, okay. So I was in Wisconsin, and I sent him a text. I was like, hey, dude, I think I know what we should do. And I could paint this in a couple days. How about we do something where it's like all old-timey looking, where you look like kind of like almost Civil War era. And, I'll paint it like so it looks like there's like dust scratches and all that kind of stuff. And I want you to have like a real kind of blank stare. Like, you can't smile because you're going to mess up the camera. And he's like, yeah. And so I took pictures of myself in the exact same position and sent it to him. And then he goes, and this was like 8 a.m. and he's like, oh man, I don't know, bro. He's like, I'm really, he was on mushrooms at 8 a.m.
Dude.
And so
I like him even more now.
Yeah.
So badass.
So his wife took pictures and then they sent it to me on the iPhone. And there was a couple that were good. And so I'm like, okay, I can work with these. So I start working on them and I get it done in a couple days and send it. Now, if you look at the final, you can see in my painting that he's totally high. He's like, his eyes are just like, kind of heavy.
Yeah.
So then the album comes out and it was everywhere. All of a sudden it was on Jimmy Fallon and Conan O'Brien.
Dude, it's like one of the only hardcover actual albums I've bought in the past few years. Like I usually just
it blew up. It was crazy.
Dude, so I wish I would have brought it so you could sign it. I freaking forgot too. Because I knew this about when I saw that you did that, I was like, oh, this dude's fucking badass.
It was cool. It was really cool. It was not something I expected because it was I thought it was a great album.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect all of a sudden he's like
he got country
did he win? He won like.
He did.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's undeniably great. I mean, if you look at the state of like modern, like whatever you want to call it, like radio rap or radio country, you're like, is this even like what it claims to be? It's just like,
yeah.
And his stuff comes out, you're like, this is undeniably great country music.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you listen to any country, but there's a lot of really bad.
I like
country.
Chris Stapleton. I listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to turn this podcast into the Sturgill Simpson suck off hour.
Yeah.
But dude, it's amazing. It's
by the way, I have another room where Sturgill's there all the time.
Oh, in the fantasy house, there's a Sturgill room. I love it.
Oh yeah, he's just there. Yeah,
just on mushrooms. You're like, it's 8 a.m. Sturgill in there. He's like, I'm fried.
He's like, man, I'm writing new songs, man.
Dude, he's one of the best. He definitely like warms my heart and makes me feel the future of country is going to be freaking good. Okay, so. What other rooms do we need to see in your house? I need to go to a bathroom in your house. I need to know how we go potty in Jason Seiler's house.
Well, man, currently I feel like a king because in my apartment now I've got 3 bathrooms with showers and one with a jacuzzi. It's awesome. We just lucked out. This is an awesome place. So I got to up that a little bit.
Yeah, you do. This is fantasy house. You need to up it, dog.
So let's see here.
Sprinkle some up it sauce on that puppy.
Yeah, so maybe there's I know what would be a great bathroom. There's a bathroom that whenever I want, my wife and I, we can go in there and we can get professional massages. There's and there's like a little Korean lady in there, and she does the hot rocks, you know. And the reason I say Korean is only because there's a place I've gone to that's like amazing.
Yeah.
And no, there was no happy ending. I was there with my wife.
Yeah, don't get funky, fellas.
No. We fucked later in the shower. It was great.
At the massage place, you and your wife were all excited?
No, but they actually. What was funny is after our massage, we're getting massaged together.
Yeah.
We go back and they bring us to this room, and there's a shower, and they bring us champagne, and we're like. Is there a camera in here? Like, what's going on?
It doesn't get broadcast in this country. It goes to some other country. Yeah. You're like, somebody's watching you guys.
So, we didn't. We were like, we probably should.
You were on the Korean X-Hamster site. Like, amateur couple goes at it after a massage.
Yeah. So, she doesn't have to be Korean, but I think they do good massages. But anyways, that would be awesome in your house if anytime you're just like, oh, my feet, the dogs are barking, you know? Just go in there. Even when you're taking a shit, she doesn't care. It's like she's rubbing your feet, you know?
Is her name Maria also?
There's a lot of Marias. No, her name is Kim. Yeah.
Kim? A Korean lady named Kim.
Yep, Kim. This is it. Every stereotypical name.
Hello, my name's Kim. Kim Chi. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, the white guy that does the dishes in my house, his name's Chad.
That's right.
Yeah. But I would think a bathroom with, I would actually like a urinal. I would love a urinal in my house. So I don't have to touch a toilet seat.
Yeah.
I just go in there. I got my urinal. I just pee in that.
What's the decor look like in there? Like if I had to paint a picture, like if you were describing it to me so I can imagine it, like what's it look like?
I would say like open with tall ceilings, and
what color are the walls?
Like kind of like an off-white, but then there's also, here's another thing that I should mention about my home is that it's all tall ceilings and it's all like paintings everywhere. Like something like you'd see in Italy, just like, or like those old movies, like you see like, the Victorian age movies with everyone's wearing those stupid white wigs, but you have these beautiful walls full of paintings. That would be awesome. So even in the bathroom, you just got just beautiful artwork everywhere. But it would be open and clean lighting, bright.
What's the flooring?
Oh man, what flooring would be? I don't know. I think a real nice, like, kind of dark wood, kind of like like what you'd see in a real fancy spa. So just you walk in there and you're just like, yeah, this is awesome. And there's separate bathrooms because I think it's awesome to have your wife has her own place to go because let's keep some secrets,
Yeah, dude.
She
privacy.
I don't have to know how she.
How it sounds when your wife goes to the bathroom. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. She's got her own massage person.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Chad.
She gets the white guy. You got the Korean lady.
Yeah. It just works out. Like we just don't talk about it. We keep it private.
Do you have a master bedroom?
Oh yeah, bedroom would just be. Here's the thing. Don't spend much time in my bedroom.
Yeah. Because you're out there living, dog. You go there to sleep.
So I don't need a massive, massive bedroom. But what I do need is a massive closet for all my wife's shit.
Okay.
So she's going to have she'll have a huge walk-in closet. So she has all of her things. But yeah, nice bed, comfortable bed. Maybe there's a balcony that goes off of it so you can go out there and, look at the stars or whatever. Look at the lake, the reflection on the lake. Have a little table out there with some chairs. You can sit out there and have some wine. Talk about what the massage was like. How was yours tonight? Oh, it was good. Chad's hands are strong.
Yeah, I love how you value like just chilling out in a way of like, because I always imagine, and I've joked since I was like a teenager, like, man, one day I'm gonna like play the banjo on a porch, and that's gonna be
like Kermit.
Just have some sort of whiskey and some sort of doobie hanging out of my mouth, and just play the banjo on a porch. Yeah, maybe it is Kermit. That Sesame Street sure got into my psyche. I don't even know all the stuff, right? And I'm gonna eat a lot of cookies too, but the Cookie Monster. But yeah, I don't know. I love like that. Like you work really hard. You've followed your heart. You've bitten off more than you can chew. You've achieved certain things, and then it's like within the day, like you're cool with like sitting on a dock and drinking a glass of wine, and it's like it's so nice. It
just sounds good.
It even sounds good right now, huh?
Yeah, does sound good.
Are there any other rooms in the house that we should see?
Oh man, of course I have to have rooms for my daughters.
Okay, let's go to them. Tell me.
And first of all, there would be a studio for my wife as well.
Oh, so there's multiple art studios.
Yeah, because she's an artist as well, so she's going to have her own studio. I don't know what that's going to be like. I would imagine chaotic because, like, here's the thing: my wife's an awesome artist, and we tease each other all the time. I'm super clean. And I plan out my palette. When I'm done painting, I clean my palette. I don't get paint all over myself. Her palettes are never cleaned off. They're just covered in hard paint. That she just keeps layering it on top. She'll have paint in her hair, on her clothes. She doesn't plan her painting. Like I pre-sketch, transfer, so it's all perfect. And then I start blocking in. She just starts sketching and. Oh, that's not right. She starts over. She just has like this real chaotic thing, but it works. So her studio, I would imagine,
I love that you guys just be the opposite spectrum of But you guys complete your project and you go like, here's my work.
Yeah. So her studio would be, probably it would be organized because she's very organized, but there would also just be like, kind of messy paint stuff all over the place and. It's actually kind of hot. The art girl.
It is sexy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
But mine's more like a precise, like. Cause here's the thing. When I go to my studio, if I'm starting to work and there's like a piece of paper here, I don't know where it's from. I'll keep looking over it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fucking driving me nuts, and I can't work. I have to get up and put that somewhere.
Dude, I'm like that anywhere that I work. I'm like, I need to focus, and if a pencil is out of place, I'm like.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
First of all, there's too many pencils to begin with. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm the same.
And I have to work with structure in order to get stuff done on time. So I have to like, just kind of, I don't even know what the right wording is. Just,
Tetris, like the way you're having to like.
Yeah, kind of. Everything's got to be organized. Like if I'm working on a deadline, this face, I'll give myself 2.5 hours or more just for this, and then 2 hours for the hands.
Yep.
And I have to do that in order to get it done on time.
Badass. So, dude, you're making me hungry to draw right now. Like it's just like I'm just you talking about it.
That's cool.
It flows through your veins.
the power of the force. But like, yeah. So of course my daughters would have rooms as well, and I would think that they would. I would like to have like a room where they can go to do fun things, hang out. Maybe there's a pool table. Maybe there's, couches they can lounge on with their friends and watch a movie. Kind of a separate place where they can just be kids and have fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. What else would there be? Let's see.
I mean, generally, is there a garage with any kind of vehicles or anything fun?
Well, I would definitely want a boat. For sure.
Okay. Well, you got the dock and a lake. You have to have a boat.
Yeah, a boat. Nothing like too fancy, but like I'm more instead of getting like a big like speedboat or whatever. I wouldn't mind just having a nice huge pontoon.
Yeah.
So everyone can go out and we can fish and hang out and have drinks.
Because you want to chill. You want to drink some wine.
Yeah. Chill out and fish and have a good time with the family.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, of course, have a garage. Gonna have to have a riding lawnmower because. For sure, this is going to happen, fantasy or not, when we actually buy a home, because I grew up in North Wisconsin. My dad we had 5-acre lawn, and in the summer we had to mow it a couple times a week.
5 acres you guys had to?
Me and my brother.
In Wisconsin in the summer, in the humid, disgusting summer, you mowed 5 acres?
With a push mower. My brother and I.
You were kidding
We had to take turns. No.
God! Yeah. No wonder you don't believe in the Lord. I've been to hell, fellers.
Yeah.
Dude, that's an insane amount of work.
And we had to do it twice a week because it would grow so fast. And every year for Christmas, my brother and I would ask for Christmas, like, for a riding lawnmower.
Please.
We never got one.
God, you really make me feel like a little bitch for being mad that my parents never got me the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. I was like, this guy is the one who deserved the gift he was asking for. Yeah. It's just a riding mower. Look at what you're doing to me.
Yeah. And I remember one time my brother and I were like, how about you get okay. My dad got us a push mower that actually, it helped. It was better than the last one because you squeeze the handles together and you push the trigger and it moves by itself. So you just have to walk behind it.
Yep.
So that was way better than the pushing one.
Yep.
And then I remember one time we were like, you should just get one more of those so we can both mow at the same time.
Maybe 2.5 acres each, Dad? And then we could
because we would have to take turns. Like one of us would do it for a while and then, switch off.
How long would it take to do? I mean, I imagine 1 acre of actual grass.
It'd take sometimes all day. Like we would mow the backyard, which was pretty big. And there was like a river back there. And then the front yard was the huge yard where we played football and everything. It was huge. We shot bow and arrow. Like,
oh, it sounds great. Yeah, you had the benefits of it.
But it was like a lot. It was a lot.
With that many acres, I'm surprised that you weren't like, okay, my fantasy house is situated on 25 acres of solid cement, and there's not a single fucking leaf of grass. I can't even believe that you have.
See, but I wouldn't mind if I had, even like a couple acres of land, and I had to mow it as long as I had a rider, because that'd be kind of relaxing. And I got to. It's my man duty.
Dude.
Mow some lawn.
I have a friend whose husband actually races lawnmowers. He's in a lawnmower racing league.
Wow.
And it's badass. She showed me a video of it. Like they actually go around like an oval track, like pretty fast. It's pretty cool. It looks like a stock car track.
Do they rig them to like?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're. Yeah, you got to.
What do they call that? Like the governor or whatever? They can change that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
change the governor.
That's funny.
I don't know much about lawnmower. Illegal lawnmower mods, but yeah, dude, it's pretty badass. They wear helmets and
Yeah, I mean, and so there's an area in Chicago that my wife and I talk about all the time, where this kind of a house would be perfect. But I don't know if there's any lakes around, but there's also like forest preserves around with like bike paths and stuff like that. You can just go for walks or bike rides. And then if you want like a 10-minute drive, you're in the city. So you got all the city things that you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's ideal for me because I've been in the city long enough. It'd be nice to get out, but I can go visit if I want.
You need to go back to get your good Chinese food too.
Oh yeah,
you can't live too far from it. I love Chicago and that area. We had friends when I was growing up in Arlington. Actually, they still live in Arlington Heights or somewhere around there.
Yeah,
and it's about I think it's like 30 minutes from the city. I think I haven't been there for years, but I just used to love it. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
the place smells good. Like it just places smell when you go to them.
Oh yeah,
like you just go there like man, I definitely can envision like the lush areas that are foresty and preservey.
Yeah, it's. Where I used to live a little over a year ago now is only 1.5 miles away from where we live now.
Yeah.
And we lived a block from the lake, and the neighborhood looks really nice, and we thought it was awesome. Apartment was cool. You walk a block or so north, there's like mansions in Evanston, just beautiful parks.
Yeah.
And then 2 blocks down the street from us this way to the west is like Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
And that's where, we didn't know. We literally moved onto the most violent street in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
It's called the Jungle. Jonquil Jungle. The street's Jonquil. And we found out because one time my wife, first of all, there were shootings constantly. And we're like, what the hell's going on? Like after we
live
signed
in a nice apartment. Why is this happening?
Yeah. It's it was crazy. And then my wife, she knelt down on broken glass accidentally and sliced her knee really bad. The ambulance came to get her, and they're like, "What are you guys doing in this neighborhood?"
You're like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, that's when we found out this is the Jonquil Jungle. And as we were going into the hospital, the ambulance driver was like, he pats me on the shoulder. He's like, "You should have a gun." He's like, if you're gonna live, like you should have a gun.
Jeez, Louis.
The ambulance driver.
So is this what inspired your wife to get her real estate license? She's like, we should have had a realtor warn us about this place. Yeah. I'm going to go out there and do it myself.
No, I think she just, you know what actually inspired that is, and by the way, the neighborhood we're in now is just awesome. So it's not a big deal. But what inspired that was she's done a lot. She was a massage therapist. She has an art degree. She does a lot of things, but she's obsessed with like home, like the Property Brothers and all these.
All the HGTV shows,
like designing things, and she's got a really good eye for it.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, she's got a really good eye for like home things and stuff. And one time I was like, you could do that. You should get into selling homes and probably can make some good money doing that. So she started looking into it, and one of her cousins does it. So she this last year did all the classes and everything, got her license, and so
badass.
So she's starting to do it.
Congrats!
And I'm happy about it because once she starts making money, it'll give me more freedom to not have
jobs.
to take to not have to take every single thing that comes in.
Totally.
So.
Oh, that's great. Well, good luck to her.
That's my fantasy right now.
Your fantasy lifestyle is that my wife starts bringing in some of the money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great though, dude. Is there anything else in your fantasy house we need to see before we go?
Oh man, I don't know. This is just sort of just sentimental, but I would love for there to be an attic space just like in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where Chevy Chase goes up and watches old videos of his family. A place I can go and just look at old pictures and stuff. There's cobwebs and the whole family's downstairs making noises, clinking glasses, and the turkey's cooking, and I can go up there and be sentimental and that, you know what I mean?
That's like, so sweet, yeah.
Like we got old boxes from when the kids were little, like that kind of idea.
That's so nostalgic and sweet.
Yeah.
What a way to end the episode, dude. Where can people find you, dude?
Okay, well, yeah, people can find me at jasonseiler.com. And also, look for me on YouTube. Follow my podcast. It's Face the Truth. I interview artists, actors, musicians, comedians, poets, sculptors, anything that has to do with the arts. Every week I do a podcast. I'm on iTunes and everywhere you can find podcast stuff. And just basically that should be it. I mean, basically if you Google me, you'll find out. On Instagram, I'm Seiler Paints, not Seiler Pants. A lot of people, I thought it was Seiler Pants. No, it's Seiler Paints. And I don't really do Twitter very often. So I'm on there, but I don't really do it.
So look him up on Instagram. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Yeah, seriously, thank you for having me, man. So cool.
Such a blast. Your stories are great. It's just an honor getting to sit down with you and do this and make this comedy. Thanks, guys, for listening. Give us a 5-star review and hit that share button. And hashtag blessed guest. Be silly, have fun, guys. Mwah!